Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about Kevin Smith. You know, the famous, who is not the more infamous occult leader who, sacrificed two members of his church, and another one was injured by a police shootout. And this has been a big story, and he's now dead. But what I really want to talk about, is because a lot of people are shocked. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, is this possible? Oh, can you like, oh, are grown folks allowed to be tricked? Oh, can trick all these grown folks and all of that?" And this man was very powerful, so there's a lot of mystery and conspiracy surrounding his death and his name and his church and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of question marks, and just want to give my 2 cents on all, gonna give my opinion. That's what it is. There's no facts. I mean, I'll be trying to give my opinion based on the facts that are known, but I'm not talking from a position of authority or anything. This is just another Jamaican just looking in and trying to make understanding of what's happening. You know, first let me just say, don't be shocked if you see some of your favorite pastors, politicians, and celebrities getting exposed going forward in the future, about occult dealings, or sort of Baphomet, devil worshipping, and all of that. Because there's a truth that has been known for generations, and this is it. Power corrupt, and absolute power corrupt, absolutely. And you can go into politics. You see a lot of politicians, before they enter into politics, they have all these good dreams, good thoughts, these goals that they want to do. And once they get in there, start to realize that they start to drift, they start to shift up, start to change their original ideals and plans and goals are nowhere to be found. And that's because power is corruptible. There's a systematic, especially in countries like Jamaica, there's systems in place to maintain power. And you're going to realize that in order to reach to the pinnacle of those systems, pinnacle of power, you're going to have to make a lot of compromising. You're going to have to turn a blind eye to a lot of things. You personally might have to start doing some compromising things. That's just the nature of the game, and that is why power is so corruptible. If you ever read the story in with David, when David became king and he killed, slept with this man's wife. I'm forgetting the name, it's been a while, and he put the man on the front of the field to die. Talking about David, who God said was a man of his own heart. Why did David do that? Because you see, what a lot of us as humans have to understand is that we have desires. All of us have desires. Some of us don't act on those desires because we don't have the means to fulfill those desires. And this is why power is such a dangerous thing. Now imagine, all of a sudden get in place in a powerful position. All of a sudden you have all the resources, the means to fulfill all the deepest and darkest desires. And this is why power is such a dangerous thing. Because a lot of us will say, "Yo, I would never do that." But in order to not do that, you have to constantly be mindful and thoughtful and be aware of who you are, what are your desires, what desires are worthy of keeping, what desires should you throw away right now. A lot of us aren't really that inclined with ourselves, and this is how it is possible for somebody like Kevin Smith to take control of a congregation. A lot of us aren't really paying attention, and most of us are just going through life. We aren't paying attention. We think we are paying attention, but most of us are acting based on emotions and desires. Most of us aren't sitting down being thoughtful and making deliberate decisions. I think the key thing I'm trying to say is that most of us aren't living intentionally, and that is why somebody like a Kevin Smith can come and say a few words and entrap so many people. Can looking in from or standing outside looking at this whole situation. It almost seems like this man cast a spell over these people. They were, required them to pay their first paycheck of the year or something like that. They had to pay for everything. They were financing his lifestyle, and this is how you hell. Right? So basically they allowed him to become the beast that he is. That congregation allowed him to become the raper that he was, because I heard that he was raping young boys, the murderer, being able to know cut people throat. And this is just 2 murders that we know of. We don't know if there's any more. And not just that, he has been enabled by people in power. You don't. Somebody like Kevin Smith cannot be this bold. Oh, can he be this bold in order to commit basically human sacrifices in a church, buggering young boys? Clearly he had links and powerful people in high places that he could rely on, being able to walk away. And this is the next thing I want a lot of us Jamaican to understand. You see, try to get rich. I try to get educated, gather some money, save, don't squander your money, try not to be doing too much debt, try to have a good credit score if you're in America. Because I'm gonna tell you something, you see, there's a new thing popping up, classism. It's gonna be brutal. Because one of us going to realize that there's different rules for the rich and different rules for the poor. You know, that's a fact. You know, we can try to argue it, but that's an undeniable fact. There are different rules at play for different people in different social class. That's just the reality, and that is why he could get away with this. He was in a different social class. He had money that he took from his congregation. He had links and connection, and probably that is why he had to die and why his death looks so spooky. Because I saw them. I was watching Serpy video and he was talking about. I didn't even realize, oh, it was his side that got hit. That is very strange. On a narrow road where one is going up, one is going down. How do you hit that directly where the pastor's his, and he died? Kevin Smith is. But you know, this is a rambling. This is not structured. This is a no mind. Listen. Ultimately, if anything, I want people to understand. Listen, you have to be more mindful in life. A lot of us are just going through life, not really being. We think we are being intentional, but we are not. A lot of us are making decisions based on desires, and we're not asking ourselves, why am I feeling like this? Is this my true feelings, or is this an engineered feeling? Am I feeling this way because someone said something to me yesterday? Am I feeling this way because there was an advertisement? Do I really need these shoes? Do I, Shane Salmon, really need these shoes? Or am I buying these shoes because my friends are influencing me to buy these shoes? These are the type of questions that you have to start asking yourself. Otherwise, you can just you can unaware find yourself in some position. You wonder, how did I get here? You get there because you wasn't paying attention. You wasn't paying attention to your true emotions. You know, you were just being you're watching too much advertisement. You're on social media being influenced by influencers are telling you that something look good and you automatically, you know what, I think it look good as well. You think that you came to that decision based on your own, but it's not. You guys need to start reading and learning and realizing that this world is very detrimental. Listen, I always say, you know, power corrupts. And the next thing I want you guys to understand, and last time I checked, it's a Jamaica GDP per year is 14 billion or 14 point something billion. Andrew Holness is not worth a billion Jamaican dollars. Why am I saying this? I'm trying to say that there are forces in Jamaica that are much more powerful than the most powerful person that we think is. Right? Andrew Holness is not the most powerful man in Jamaica. The dollar is. Those billions, that's 14 billion a year time. That is the most. That is why we are still letting in tourists in our country. Money. That is why we have to, as a citizen, have to be bearing the, you know, we have to suffer the shutdown. We have to shut down the suffer the non-movement, but tourists can come here and enjoy our beautiful island. Money. That's $14 billion a year. And this is not a morality question, because a lot of people rely on tourism. But the point is that there's powers and forces at play that you don't even can acknowledge. Those same power and forces are propping up people like Kevin Smith. They are propping up certain people. You wonder why a man like Kevin Smith can be this bold, because there's power, there's money behind him. He has money. He has influence. He has connections. And don't be surprised if you start to see more things like this getting exposed in Jamaica, because money and power corrupt people. Especially when you're in the thick of the system. A lot of us think that we can change the system, trust me. One person cannot change a system, especially if you're going to be in the system trying to change the system. That is why if you look at history, when there's a major change in a economical system or political system, so many people had to die because the system refused to be reformed. You know, slavery had to become undone. It had to become so costly for slave masters and the slave trade to continue. Some couple slave masters had to die, a couple rebellion had to take place. Haiti had to rebel and push out France. It became so, it almost became a trouble. It became very expensive to maintain slavery. That is why it ended. In other words, I'm trying to say, in order to change a system, in most times, you have to rip the system apart and tear it down. You cannot go into the system thinking that you can reform the system by being a part of the system. No, the system will instead reform you. That is why a lot of people get into politics with all these goals and dreams and they become corrupted. That is why you see, you might hear Andrew run on a certain thing. Oh, we are going to raise minimum wage, oh, we are going to do this. And when he get in the government, he can't do it. You know why he can't do it? Because 14 billion dollars a year. So, yo, you cannot do that, Andrew. And Andrew cannot do it. Because 14 billion a year is what really run the Jamaica, and the more of that 14 billion you have is the more to say you have. Money talk, bullshit work. That is the reality. We live in a capitalist society. The dollar is king with, yes, democracy, vote. No. It's an illusion of freedom we have. Sure, we can criticize the government and we can cuss and we talk and we don't go to prison like in some dictator. But a money talk, the 14 billion a year, if you want to know who run Jamaica, figure out who that 14 billion a year decide they want to do. That is why tourism is still up and running even though most of the country locked down. That is exactly why. Anyway, don't be shocked when you hear some of your favorite pastors them get exposed. Alright? That's my main message. My main message is that don't be shocked. Look beyond the horizon, look out for more things like this. If you know, classism is coming up, and be mindful. You guys need to start living more intentional. If you wake up in the morning and you say you want something, why do you want that specific thing to it? Or do you genuinely need it? Live more intentional, you know? That's the main point I try to make. And good luck to you guys out there, you know the pandemic still a go on. A lot of people, are going through a rough time right now, emotionally, financially, and otherwise a lot of kids aren't being able to go to school. And a lot of people are gonna get pushed into poverty because of this pandemic and this lockdown. And it's going to be very sad. And I don't really like to be a conspiracy theorist, but some part of me can't help but think so, this is just the elites trying to show up their power, and ensure that they have a bigger share of the pie. Anyway, that's it for now. You guys can just think I'm some crazy conspiracy theorist. Don't worry about it. But if you think what I'm saying makes sense, just take what is sense about what I'm saying and ignore the rest. Alright? Make sure you guys subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.